Oh, this is just a short video about my NSU Quickly collection. UYA 491 is a 1955 with a 55 engine. It's original engine to it. You might call that numbers matching. That is an original number, but it wasn't transferred to Swansea, so it's now on the V5 on a non-transferable basis. They must have had the County Council logbook, I would think, in order to do that, rather than have another number assigned. So peanut tank, 26 by 2 tyres, or 23 inches they would term them now, by 2 inch. Slightly different fork arrangement from the later ones. You don't have the piece in there to catch the movement down the way. Don't have rubber inserts in the springs either, in the leading links. Spokes are very slender on these bikes. This control, I think, is essentially the same as later. That's an aftermarket dipper and horn. This is different. This is reasonably early with the, rather than having the window, it's got the numerals there. And this is a left-hand exhaust. So this is one of the early ones imported into the UK. It's also got the, I don't know if you can see it, the locking. There's a pin goes through there too, as a security measure to lock through the spokes. Rather charming, these early bikes. I think a lot of collectors probably favour them over any of the other models. And at the other end of the scale, not quite the final development, because they did have telescopic swinging rear on a later model. I think the top of the range. It's got alloy wheels, obviously smaller, 23, and bigger tyres, 2.5s. I think this number's probably the same as that. Again, it's non-transferable, but oh no, wait a minute, no, I tell a lie. It is transferable. That is the original number. It is a transferable number, I think, if I remember rightly. But nobody would transfer a B suffix. So exhaust on this side. It's a 3-speed. It's got the later Bing carburetor with the little choke here that you push down, and then when you open the throttle, the slider comes up. Bigger tank, of course, a lot more capacity. I think that's the final capacity, and it has identification on the sort of, what would you call that, front of the frame, whereas these earlier ones, they're completely plain there, and your frame number is actually here on the support for the seat. This has got the correct cap for the year, world champion 1953-54 in the 125 and 250 class. NSU were at the forefront of high performance in the small bikes. So a distinction between the 2 speeds and the 3 speeds is that the braking system is on the right, so you can always tell the engines apart in that respect. That's splined there, not interchangeable. Reassuring full width brakes, and they're good on this model. You've got this, I suppose it's glass fibre nacelle for the headlight and so on. Again, these gear changes, these are like the 2 speeds. They have the external, problematic, these 3-speed shifters. Apart from the fun of adjusting 2 cables, because it's a single cable looped round with a nipple, and you've got to it's quite a tricky thing to set up if everything's right. But on a bike that's done 20,000, and some have done more, you lose the indexing here, it gets worn, and moreover the soft, I think it's some form of alloy, that the nipple locates in, that hole starts to elongate. So I don't know if you can see it, but you end up with loss. There it is. You got about 2 millimeters of lost motion, and that's enough. No matter what you do with adjustment, you will not get the gear to be exactly in line with the marker, and you have to sort of feel it. It's not so much a problem with first and third, it's second that just has to be felt in gently. Wouldn't be a problem if the bike wasn't such high mileage. I've got little wireless, I don't know if anybody's seen these. These are, they're not much good in daylight, but you can indicate, you see. Four-way flashes and various options, but not much good really in bright light. I'll just use hand signals. Little compartment in here to put stuff, whereas that's got a little compartment behind the front number plate. Don't think there's much else to say about that. This will be I think a higher compression engine. I think it's 1.7 bhp or ps rather than 1.4, and this is a barn find 1960. So again, like the 3-speed, they had it all properly marked up on a VIN plate, and also for good measure you've got the number there, but you've also got the number stamped into the frame. So it's pretty easy to date these later bikes because of that. But you didn't have a dating plate on the engine anymore, you just got the serial number. It's got the same carburetor as the 3-speed. It's got the bigger tank compared to the 2-speed. It's got this feature on that's a way of telling the forks apart from an earlier and a later bike. Stouter spokes. I think these are gauge 12 gauge 2.6 millimeter, and I think I haven't looked closely, but I think these will have rubber inserts inside the coil springs on the front. Little lockable, no, it's not lockable, little compartment in there. That's the authentic dipper and horn switch, and the other one, as I said, was aftermarket. There's a little window to see the gear you're in, decompressor as per all of the Quicklies. I don't think the throttle's changed much over the years, maybe slightly different detail. This hasn't got a locking thing on the front. I think it possibly locks on the forks, I'm not sure. So bent wire stand as per that one, but slightly stouter. Trust this one over that one is absolutely not trustworthy at all. That's a great thing about the 3-speed, is that really good stand. Fantastic, big improvement. I should have done that long ago. I don't know why they persisted with these ridiculous stands, but there we have it. So there's only well, this was 495 with a Northern Ireland transferable dateless V5C. Not from new, but it was re-registered in '93, and at that time they were giving out transferable numbers, because I imported a few American cars around that time, and we got numbers on them which actually were quite valuable in their own right, DS's. So this was £1,000, and it cost a lot more to restore, but it's you can pick up restored bikes for a little more than that, sometimes less. It's surprising, but I don't advise buying unregistered bikes unless you you're prepared to contend with bureaucracy. It can be done. I mean, you just have to get dating and so on, but it's all a bit of a hurdle, especially for the uninitiated. This one was £900. It's an older restoration, but again, I felt that was fair value for it.